42 with a Today exclusive.
Heralded for his qualifications by senators on both sides of the aisle, 47-year-old Eric Fanning became the first Secretary of the Army to have served as a senior civilian executive in all three departments of the Pentagon, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Army. But it's another first that's gotten a lot of the headlines. 5 years after the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, Fanning becomes the first openly gay secretary of a major military branch. And I asked him about all the attention when we sat down at the Pentagon on Wednesday.
I've gotten used to the fact that this is going to be a part of any time I get a new job or do something. And when it first happened, I was more bothered by it because I didn't quite have the track record that people know now, and I wanted to focus on qualifications. Now I embrace it. It's so important to so many people, I realize, and something I didn't have 25 years ago.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because as you're growing up, and I don't know if or when you ever considered a potential career in the military, but there were no role models for you. So now do you look at yourself as having an extra responsibility to others?
I think anytime you're in a job like this, I feel a responsibility as Secretary of the Army, not just because of the historical nature of the appointment, because I'm gay. And I take that responsibility very seriously. I grew up in a military family. I have two uncles that went to West Point, and it was absolutely something that I considered, but wasn't allowed to serve, and so chose another route.
It was less than 5 years ago that a gay man or woman serving in the military had to keep it a secret. And here we are less than 5 years later, you're running the Army.
Well, first of all, it's a remarkable honor. And I was first in this building in the Clinton administration as a 24-year-old junior aide. And I ended up leaving because I didn't see that there was a future for me as an openly gay man. And so to be able to come back in this job is beyond what I had ever imagined.
When's the last time you ever consciously concealed your sexuality?
You know, it's been a while, and that's part of the silver lining of the attention that I've gotten. One of the things I realized is I can't hide it anymore. Everybody knows.
Right.
And it certainly has become even more of a story as each new rung in the career takes place.
Policy is one thing to change, culture's another. Have you ever had to confront someone here at the Pentagon because of something they said to your face, something you heard they said behind your back, or a careless comment they may have made?
Careless comment, sure. We all use lingo that maybe we don't understand the impact it has on other people.
Have you confronted someone over that?
Confronted is kind of a strong word. It's just sort of correct and explain. It's an educational moment. At no time did anybody do anything where there was any menace behind it. I haven't had to confront anyone for what they've said or what they've done, either to me or behind my back. This is too hierarchical of a culture for anyone, once you're an undersecretary or secretary, to do that.
You're the wrong guy to mess with, is what you're saying.
I never thought I would be back here.
Fanning inherits an Army facing budget cuts and fatigue after more than a decade of wars. You said the Army looks tired. Explain that to me. It worries a lot of people.
It's the strain that we're putting on our soldiers as we continually deploy them and their families, and that's when I say tired. It's still a very strong, very lethal Army, but we're running it hard.
So you're saying there are cracks that are beginning to show. One of the statistics that alarm me, Mr. Secretary, is the suicide rate is the highest in the Army of any other branch of the military. Why is that, and how do you go about fixing it?
Well, that's a hard issue to get after, and it's going to be one of my top priorities. And the trend over the last 5 years has been going down, but not fast enough. And we need to get to zero. Even one suicide is too much.
Fanning technically only has 8 months job security. A new president will pick a new Secretary of the Army. Do you want the job after January of next year? Do you want to stay in this post?
It is the best job that I have ever had.
Oh, some people would say there are better jobs.
No, I think the service secretaries are just amazingly rewarding jobs. That said, January 21st, I imagine myself on a beach someplace.
Would you be willing to go through a confirmation process to be Secretary of Defense?
This confirmation process is too recent to talk about going through it again. Right now, I can't imagine going through the process
again. It's not a firm no, for the record. Let's just say that. He is a superstar within the Pentagon. People think very highly of him. As for his personal life, Fanning is in a relationship. In fact, after being sworn in, he thanked his partner for his patience and understanding during what he called a confusing confirmation process.
I thought he was saying the confirmation process, not a pleasant experience.
Exactly.
He's not anxious to repeat it anytime soon.
Exactly.
Good conversation.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.